some tools and some drills that will make or will help make a well-rounded infielder. So these are my girls. I actually got a couple with me now. These are the ones that help me make the videos. These are the ones that work so hard for me, and I just want to give them a little shout out here. But we're going to go ahead and get into the drills. First, a little bit of advice that I was given coming into coaching in the beginning. There's a lot of different philosophies out there, and Jeff Bell, he's the head baseball coach at Sylacauga, became a buddy of mine a long time ago. And the first thing he told me as a veteran coach was, don't worry about what everyone says, what you should do. Whatever you believe is right, do it, and do it with confidence. So whatever it is you find that works, do it. Because if the kids don't see that you're confident in it, they'll pick that up. And the other piece of advice was, if players see that it's important to you, it'll be important to them. All right, first talking about how players wear their glove. Is it important? To me, yes, absolutely. An example of this is a lot of kids these days are going 5 fingers in each hole. And when you do that, if you can see right over here, you'll see that little, I call it the little molehill or the mountain. The first thing it's going to do when the ball comes trying to get into the pocket where we actually want to catch it is it's going to hit that little bump, which is going to make the ball rattle around. And also can kick out of your glove. So how do we prevent that? Go 1 finger in the traditional way. And as you can see over here, it eliminates that little hill or that little bump. And also go 2 fingers in the last, skipping this pointer finger in the hole. So you're going to slide all over and put 2 in the last. And again, that prevents that little hill, and it allows us to get it into the pocket where we really want to catch it. And for middle infielders, this is very, very crucial. All right, so the 5 drills. We're going to go through Ozzie Jeters. This is traditional. It's not a new by any means, but these are the ones that we start off with that just focus on all the little basics. Some ground ball ladders. These are going to be agility drills that you can do on field, and you're knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone there. And then circle throw, where we're playing with arm angles and moving our feet a lot and playing with our vision in throwing. Bonus is a drill we work for middle infield double plays. If we get 1, great. If we get 2, it's just a bonus. And then dailies, 53s. For us, playing for a state championship is from our home plate to the field we play our state championship on. It's 53 miles exactly. So from home plate to home plate, 53 miles. If we do these daily and we take these seriously, we give lots of effort, and we lock in for these drills, we have a much better chance of getting that 53-mile trip for us. All right, so old school Ozzie Jeters. You're going to use 1 hand, 2-hand funnel, and then you're going to get some hops, and then we'll talk about Jeters. So Ozzie's 1 hand. Make sure you have proper glove position. Make sure your eyes are behind the ball, and try to catch it in the web. And here's a good example of this, and I know it's going to bounce around from screen to screen. And I apologize, guys. All right, so here's a good example. This is Chloe, and we're just on 2 knees, 1 hand behind the back, and we're focusing on catching the ball in the pocket. As you can tell, right, well, let's back that up just a bit. All right, and then we have another set. This is the 2-hand funnel, and we'll talk about position, glove position here. Eyes behind the ball, catch it in the web, and funnel to the belly button. This is a 2 pieces of the 3 pieces that I like to have in my mechanics as an infielder. So funnel the ball and get it to your belly button right here. All right, so watch our glove positioning right there at the beginning, at the start. A lot of people believe they like to have palm completely up, well, that's an unnatural position. So the actual natural position for a glove is actually kind of thumb up, slightly diagonal. And she does a good job of this. Her thumb's diagonal and hands are out front. She's going to catch it behind her eyes. Sorry for the quality of video. And we're working front, right at you. Taking us to forehand and then taking us to backhand. So here she's trying to funnel this ball to her belly button. I'm not sure what's going on with the video. I apologize. There's another backhand. We're starting with good glove positioning, making sure we get two-hand cover and pull to the belly button. All right, so the one hand and two hand bounce. So I'm going to throw balls that are going to be short hop to her. And she's going to work ground up and she's going to track the ball the entire way, focusing on nothing else but trying to catch the ball in the webbing, working ground up. And she's eyeing the ball. She's staying focused, locking on trying to catch the ball in the web. All right, and then jeeters. This is basically the same exact drill, but we're going to take a wide stance and stand on our feet. And it's basically the same drill series. All we're doing is we're trying to train our upper body for this. We'll work on footwork later, but this is just training our upper body to stay down through the ball, eyes behind the ball, funnel it and seat it to our belly button, not right there. But she did a good job of that up until that last rep. So those are ones we kind of start off the day with. We do this a lot in off season, just training our eyes. Another thing we work on is footwork. You got to have great footwork, moving side to side, and also when you're around the bag, taking these double play feeds, etc. So these, the instructor, I'll fungo or I'll roll these half ground balls, meaning I'll fungo them from the plate, or I'll stand at the pitcher's mound and I will do these half ground balls. We're going to go right, middle, and left. All these ground balls, they're going to be fielded between, meaning we're going to move our feet and we're going to field the ball between our legs, between our feet, making sure our eyes are behind the ball again. And you can do this with or without throws. You can wear some arms out by taking your full infield sets with throws, but we do a lot with and without throws. But just make sure when you do without throws, make sure you ask them to take their full throw progression. No dry throws or full arm throws, just get to that power position. And then you're going to transfer from ladder movement to your ground ball progression. Now your ladder sets, we go 2 out, 2 in and out, hopscotch, and lateral scissors. You can add as many of this as you want to. Google search all ladder set drill sets, and you can incorporate any of these how you want. All right, so first 2 out, 2 in, or I'm sorry, 2 out, 1 in. All right, so we have the ladder set up in the back of the infield at shortstop, and this is where they all take ground balls from. All right, so they're 2 out, 2 in, 2 out, 2 in, and they're going to get to the end and they're going to get around the ball. They're going to seat it to their belly button. This is where we gain control of the ball and we start finding our grip. And as they get into their throwing progression, the idea is to funnel it, meaning good glove position, covered up. We're going to pull it to our belly button. And as soon as we pull to our belly button, we're not going to stop. We're going to pull as we're gathering ourselves and we're getting our footwork right. We're going to pull this to the belly button and we're going to go ahead and swing to the right hip, to our throwing hip. And we're going to continue on through our throwing progression. She does a good job of swinging through the hip there. Chloe does a really good job of this as well. They just have to make sure they don't overrun the ball. They come out controlled and through their whole progression. All right, so that was 2 out, 2 in. Here's in and out. And there's a lot of names for all these. These are just what we call it. Some call it slalom. I'm not sure what some other skiers. All right, so Chloe does a good job there of getting out, getting around the ball, eyes behind the ball, getting it funneled to her belly button, and getting to the right hip. So does JC there. And if they ever mess up mid-stride, make sure that they finish through it. Get themselves back on track. Don't let them start over. Let them pick right back up. So in and out ladder drills. Now let's take a look at Hopscotch. This is one of their favorites. All right, so this is basically 2 out, 1 in, 2 out, 1 in, like you're in Hopscotch. Now they're going to get, and they're going to set that last 2-foot step, and they're going to square this ball up. They're going to toe tap like they just took their prep, and they're going to get through. All right, there, Mackenzie, she decides that she's going to start high and she's going to glove flip late. This is in our early season practice set, so we're still a little rough around the edges there, but we had some good ones, and Mackenzie's a really good infielder. We've already gotten that fixed. All right, lateral scissors. This is one I like because everything's moving forward. This has kind of got you moving north and south and then having to get back square. Okay, that is not the right video. I apologize about that, but you would face one direction and you would basically scissor chop through each hole, moving back down into the shortstop position, and then you would flip your hips and you would get into your ground ball progression there. But you're basically, your eyes are hidden the whole time, and then when you flip, you've got to find ball and you've got to refocus your attention and vision there as quick as you can to get eyes to the ball. Here, this is the circle throw drill, and I find it's really tough in the beginning, but you'll find out, one, how uncoordinated they are, and two, how they're stuck in this mindset of, I can only throw one way. I can only throw for one arm slide. And as time ticks through, from the time the ground ball hits the bat to the time it gets to the infielder, they have to have an internal clock. And that means that the longer the ball is in play, the quicker and shorter your arm angle and the throw is going to have to be. So what we do is we set up cones in a circle, and we do this in the outfield a lot. You could also do it around the pitcher circle if you have it drawn out. But you'll move counter and clockwise, and players will work catching the ball on the run, They will also adjust their arm angle to the speed of the drill and urgency. So you'll see that in a second, but they need to be able to throw from their normal slot, 3/4, and full sidearm as infielders. So the drill set will be a slow shuffle, fast shuffle. We'll pick the pace up and we'll go a little faster shuffle. Then we'll slow jog, fast jog, and then do our small circle glove flip. All right, so starting with a slow shuffle. So they're just shuffling sideways. They're focusing on staying moving, not throwing to the person, but throwing to a spot of where they're going. And this was actually the very first time when I got here that they had done this drill. And this isn't bad. This is one of the better I've seen. All right, so they'll mess it up, but eventually they will get a little better as you go. Right here, this was the second time they had ever done it, in their second turn through the rotation. Keeping their feet moving, throwing to a spot, and receiving the ball. We're still working all of our fielding techniques. She stops, she squares it up, makes sure she gets it stopped. So that was their second time, and that was much better than the first. So they'll pick it up as you go, and eventually they'll kind of master it. And you'll see this play out in your season where this is needed, and you'll tell, like, that's why we do this. That play alone showed why we do this. All right, so now we're kind of picking up the pace a little bit. We're trying to play with our arm angles. All right, and let's move on now to fast shuffle. We're picking up the pace a good bit now. Focusing on ball all the way into the glove, working on getting those arm angles to another slot. All right, and that was a good set for their first attempt. And then we go faster shuffle, where we are on the move now. Get it out quick, get it out quick, get it out quick. Making sure we're receiving the ball the correct way. Playing with the arm angle and making sure we're throwing to a person where they're going and not a spot. All right, so that's your circle throw drill with the shuffles. Now it's going to be a slow jog. We're going to face the front. And we're going to hit a person on the run. It's going to completely change the way that we approach the throw. So now we're jogging sideways, having to throw back across our body a little bit. Slow rollers, balls on the move. And then here's another look at it where we get a little better. And coaches, you'll want to get frustrated real quick, but I'm going to challenge you to grab a glove and do this with them, and it is much, much harder than it looks. Really playing with that arm angle and getting it back across our body. And I can't take credit for this because this is actually something that I've seen from Coach Tim Walton at Florida, and his girls are phenomenal at it. All right, so this is fast jog. We're actually going to pick this tempo up and move, move, move. Now we're having to leave our feet a little bit, try to get back across our body. And that one's really tough. Coaches, try that one with them. They'll get a good laugh out of it. All right, here, glove flips. A lot of people don't rep glove flips, but I do. second baseman could potentially use this going full forearm side, making plays at first. Anytime you have infield in, you want to try to make a play at the plate, especially with pitcher. When time's crucial, glove flips can come in handy, not having to make that glove to hand transfer and that underhand flip. Right here, we're just trying to get comfortable getting into the web, into the pocket, and back out of our pocket. Just getting a feel for the glove, underhand, top flip. We're just kind of jogging in a circle. All right, and when they mess this up, again, make them jump right back into it. Don't let them reset, just jump back to it. And here we're going to kind of pick up the pace a little bit, making this a little more realistic and how it would actually play out in game speed. All right, so that's your glove flip set, finishing up the circle throw drill. Now, big focus on my middle infielders, and what we do is double play feeds. I think when you're working double play feeds, it's working much more than that as far as footwork and defensive mechanics. But our double play feeds has a lot of communication. It has to be consistent, must be very predictable, accurate, and the communication has to be on point. So what we're basically saying here is when you take these feeds at certain spots, so if the ball is hit to me at short, taking me short right, I know as a second baseman that this feed is coming from this arm angle, from this way, and it's going to be consistent. Same thing for forehand glove flip, forehand underhand, and any type of feed is going to be consistent and predictable by the person receiving the ball every single time. And here's a rule of mine, is the only person that's covering the bag makes the call. It just eliminates so much confusion. So whoever's covering second is going to be the one that makes the call because they have the cleaner vision. They're not the one involved directly in the play, and they have the center of focus there that they can make that decision with their internal clock by gauging where runners are and who their runners are. But sprint, time it up, and attack the bag with the correct foot to transition right to left throw. Everything you're going to hear me say is right, left throw, right, left throw, right, left throw. And I've kind of beat that into my girls' heads. But our communication at the bag, if we want the double play, we're going to say yes, 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 yes. If we don't want it and we need you to bypass second and just get the out at first, it's no, 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 no. So when you hear no, 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 immediately kill the play at second and get the out at first. Yes, 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 yes. Give me a double play feed. For example, shortstop gets the ground ball. I'm second and I'm moving to the bag. I want the ball. I want to turn this double play. Yes, 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 yes. It eliminates a lot of confusion. I know a lot of people like to say across, back, behind, but yes, 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 no, no, no. And our double play feeds are consistent, and it takes some of that communication out and kind of simplifies it. But yes, 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 no, no, no. Here's what I do. I set up different sets for each base in each position. So for third, we're going to take balls right at the bag, take it ourselves, and try to get the out at first. The second, it's going to be a ground ball straight up, straight to them, and we're going to make these feeds. The third one is going to be short forehand, and then 4 is going to be extended forehand, pretty much on the run making this throw, and 5 will be sort of a bouncer or a hard shot that when we're playing a little bit deeper, we take the angle on it and we're back over to the top of the bag when we take this. So this is what it will look like when it's tied all together. All right, so this is right at her, taking her to the bag. Then she bounces with her throw, straight at her. Boom. She's gathering her feet. One quick shuffle, right, left throw. Now short. She makes her move. And now we're talking about balls on the run. Slow rollers and things, to me, people like to throw back across their body a lot and every time. I like to get my players, fielding the ball, moving with their momentum. They're already going to be jogging that way or moving that way. But instead of changing your body direction, take yourself straight to the base that you're throwing to and throw on the run that way, instead of trying to come back and get around it and throw back across. So make sure you take your momentum to the bag you're throwing to and throw on the run that way. And she did a good job of it there. All right, and then the last one, this is going to be one where she is going to get the bouncer or the big one behind the bag. She's going to make sure she takes the correct angle. Let's back that up a little bit so we can see it. Big hop. Well, let's try that one more time. Sorry about that again. I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. But you kind of get the idea. The big bounce behind the bag. We're going to work our footwork and get opened up quickly and go right, left throw. All right, talking about shortstop. Shortstop has basically 5 different types of feeds themselves. All right, this first one is going to take them to the bag and they're going to take it themselves. The second is going to be moving them to the bag from their normal position. All right, this is going to be one closer into the shortstop position, but it's going to be too short for a full arm swing throw. This is going to be your underhand pitch. Palm up, don't let you get palm above the belly button, and follow your pitch. 3 is going to be your normal field, get a good arm angle and make it quick. 4 is going to be extended to the right side. We're going to try to field this ball between our legs. So between, and try to get this seated and get it to our hip and in the right arm slot to get it going. And then the last one is going to be ball back up the middle. They field it behind. This is a tricky ball for short and second basemen. A lot of communication involved, but shortstop would actually get this ball. And now we got to decide what kind of feed am I going to give this second baseman? Because now we're kind of in an untraditional or a weird situation here. So how are we going to attack that when it happens? So take it yourself, soft flip, right at you, extended right, and over the bag, power flip. That's what we call it, is power flip. All right, so bonus. Here's the shortstop. The idea is to get 1. If we can get 2, it's nothing but a bonus. If we do this portion right, we get that bonus. All right, so there, it's taking her to her left. She takes the ball full. And you can fungo these, or you can roll these. There's underhand feed. Now, what I will say with Mackenzie there, she does a good job there getting her feet and getting her body turned. Here, this is a habit we've been trying to break with some of them. And she comes back to this, and she has always wanted to raise and stand straight up and then give that pitch and throw it flat-footed. Here, she is making an effort to go smooth from the fielding position, underhand belly button flip, and get it there. She kind of rolls out of her hands. But to me, this is a win because she's breaking habits slowly. All right, and to finish that set out. All right, now we're going back and we're just kind of reviewing some things and making sure that we get all of our footwork correct. And here's another attempt at that. She does a good job. She finds her hold on the ball. All right, right, and she knows immediately what she did is she stood straight up instead of staying low and finishing through that right-left transition. And there's my son walking through the background like he has no sense. That's my boy Hudson. He's 9, and he hangs around these girls, and they love him to death. All right, there's the ball behind. Now, that was the miscommunication. Neither one knew really how to approach that. So we have to make sure that we communicate that and we give the good backhand power flip as we go back across our body. All right, so that was your shortstop sets. Here is your second base sets. Again, this is pretty much the same thing, but inverted. 1 is going to be right at her. She's going to take it herself. 2, this is going to be the underhand pitch, palm up, letting the ball not get above your belly button and following your pitch. 3 is a lot of people like to swing the knee and get to one knee on this throw. Some like to just stay square and give a good trunk rotation and a sidearm throw. And then you'll have your footwork for the ball, extended forehand, and then we'll be back to the ball where we had that communication issue with the shortstop. And this is Chloe, and she does a pretty good job at this daily. So she takes it herself. Now it's going to be underhand pitch. Now she knows exactly what she did because that's one of those habits we're trying to break. We don't want a full arm swing. We don't want to raise up. We want to stay low and give a good pitch. Right in there, she's one that decides to stay low and flip her hips hard to make that throw right at her. That is the extended forehand. Palm up, get it fielded, and she's going to spin back to the position she's throwing to, back to second. And this is that ball behind. She's going to power flip, or she's going to sidearm flip. You know, that play is not made, or it doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, you know that you prepared for it. And again, there's lots of footwork there that you're repping that ties into everything else. So here, daily drills. Again, I hate to mention Jeff Bell again, but he's my boy. And, we bounce ideas off of each other all the time. And if we make a phone call and we start talking ball, we have to set aside about 3 hours because that's how long we're going to be kicking stuff around. So 53s, if we do these right every single day, again, there's no reason that we shouldn't have an opportunity or have that extra confidence in trying to push and make this 53-mile drive from our plate to where we play our state championship. All right, so you can roll or fungo these. I like to do both. I really like to use the fungo, but you can do it however you want to if you're not comfortable with a fungo. But your drill set order is going to be right at you, right behind, left behind. Right between, left between. Backhand extended, forehand extended, soft right, soft left, big hops, slow roller right, slow roller left, or middle. All right, so again, I have a diagram that I post that has this to a T, so they know exactly what we're doing and they know where their positioning is. When I first start these drills, I kind of paint marks on the field or circles where they should be and where the ball is kind of going to try to get their muscle memory or get them into a rotation or a routine. But eventually I don't do that anymore, and we go with the play, and they've got to know all of their footwork. All right, so this is right at you, and this is pretty self-explanatory with ground ball right at you. But again, we're trying to go proper glove position, field the ball behind our eyes, take our momentum, seat the ball to our belly button, give a good swing, and get into our power throw. All right. And again, that's one of those habits with Mackenzie we're trying to break, which we've kind of already broken with the glove flip down. All right, so this is right between, meaning we're going to our right, and we want to get the ball fielded between our legs. All right, so she's trying to get back around the ball and set herself up in a line to where she's driving her throw. All right, and this is left between. So this is taking them to their forehand side. They go through their prep progression, making sure they're popping their feet. I actually saw that from Auburn several years ago first, and I fell in love with it because it never gives you a chance to get on your heels and get stagnant. All right, so now backhand extended, meaning, let's see here. Ooh, sorry, this is forehand extended. All right, we're trying to get the ball fielded cleanly. She actually makes a heck of a dive there. I'm trying to extend them big. All right, we're not trying to field this ball between, but if we have a chance, we will. All right, so soft right. Soft right. This is bringing us to the ball. We're not sitting back. It's not hit hard. They're doing a good job of trying to get around the ball, fielding this. It's not a slow roller, but it's one of those we're going to have to have that internal clock and get it going quick. All right, so soft left. This changes the angle a little bit. So soft left. We want to attack the ball, but we want to make sure that we get that routine out. Squared up. And that video is actually a lot shorter than I thought it was. I apologize. All right, so here's a big one. Knowing when to come get the big hop. And when you do get short hopped on it, how are you going to play it? All right, so here, big hop. She knew right away, I got to come get this. And that's one mistake that we tend to make is the ball is in the air and we have time to think about it. And then we try to get into a rush with that transfer. It happens, but that's why we rep this. So maybe that doesn't happen in a game. All right, this is one. It was a big hop and it took her short. Get another look at that if we can. Oh, it's not going to let me. But she does a good job of saying, I can't get big hop. I've got to set myself into receiving this tricky hop. And we all know that softball, depending on where you are in the U.S. or wherever, in Alabama, it's hot. I mean, it's hot typically all year, minus, the couple of months in January, February, March when we actually start playing softball and it decides to rain and be super cold. But the ground can dry out quickly, and it can become almost like a beach or a sand pit. So some of those balls will hit and stop and spin, and this is just a chance for kids to see the different playing surfaces or different scenarios that could arise in tournament play or season play. All right, so slow roller right. And again, I apologize for the poor quality of video. All right, so here they're kind of forced to get themselves on, to get thrown back across their body, trying to get it going quick. But as you notice, the second girl, JC, she plays third, so it kind of changes a little bit for her. So she's trying to get her body a little more in line. But she's still making that quick transfer and playing with that arm angle. My rule for ground ball or slow roller, do I take it with my glove or do I take it with my hands? For them, I just say, can you see the laces? If you can see the laces, you can barehand it. If you can't, it is a glove play, which I think that's the way a lot of people see it. But if you can see those laces clearly, it doesn't have to be sitting still. So that's your slow roller right. And then here's a slow roller mid to left, taking you back. Into the field of play. So here we're trying to get this ball. We can see laces. It's a bare hand. She's a third baseman, so it kind of changes a little bit for her. But they could all see the laces, and they're going to take the ball barehand and try to get it going, which to me in softball is one of the top 3 toughest plays to make, is that bare hand. All right, so those are 5 drills. I know the video was kind of poor there with Wi-Fi connection or whatever it was, but if you would like any of this stuff, the presentation, the videos, I'd be happy to send it to you. This is my contact information. I'm not sure where it's going now, but oh. And this is my personal email. I prefer the school email, but I will check it, no doubt. So that's the end of the 5 drill. At this point, if you have any questions or anything, I'd love to answer those best I can. But again, if you want any of this information, you want the slides, you want the videos, the diagrams are gold. Not having to create those yourself is worth it enough. But if you have questions, I'd like to answer them now.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cory. That was a lot of great information and drills that these coaches can use. For everyone asking, yes, we will be sending out both the recording and the presentation that Coach William used. So you have links to all of those available to you. But we will kick it off with some questions. So the first one we got was from Alicia. She says, can you talk about why it's better to funnel into belly button instead of fielding out in front?
Yeah, and it's all a personal preference, and it's just my personal preference. I feel that it gives you, it allows you to keep bobbled balls in front of you. Also, it allows time to find a grip. And there's nothing worse than an infielder going through the progression and not having the right grip, and they have to throw it anyways. It always turns into a ball in the dirt or ball over the head, something where you're giving a person or giving a runner another base. But it also makes you, it puts you in a position to make a smooth transition from fielding to the throw by the movement you make from the belly button to the swing to the right hip. So it all becomes kind of one motion, and you're one step away from being, or you're one shuffle into your progression after you've seated and got to the right hip, one shuffle from being into your standard right to left throw, which is kind of where you want to be.
Awesome. And then one question I received in my direct message was, when you're practice planning for preseason, for position players, how do you divide your time between fielding practice and batting practice?
When we're doing this in preseason and off season, I like to do this, and I know it makes it tough on some, but I like to do a lot of group, whether it be group outfield, group infield, and I usually have my catchers by themselves, but do a lot of group. But when it comes to splitting the time between the two, early season, I try to do small group as much as possible. I want them to hear my instruction. I want them to hear my opinions of their swing, and us trying to focus their attention on, or me allowing me to focus my attention just on those few kids. But I usually pick a day and I have a group so that I can focus on them and them alone. If it's a time where we need to do team hitting or something, it'll be in whole group. But I try to split it somewhat evenly.
Perfect. And then Bill just asked, along with these, are there other drill suggestions you could give for beginning level players in an upper level league?
Oh, absolutely. There's tons out there, and there's a lot more that I use. But those are probably too long to explain here, but I could definitely email those out or send you videos of that as well. But there are lots and lots and lots of videos out there that teach the same exact thing that I do.
Great. Well, it doesn't seem like we have any other questions at the moment. If anyone thinks of any others, feel free to email them to me. Email to Coach Williams. His email and all his information will be in that slideshow I will be sending out later today along with the recording. So if anyone else has any last minute things, feel free to drop them in. But just big thank you to Coach Williams for joining us today. And hopefully y'all received a lot of great drills and information to use for your team this year.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited to do it, and I'd love to do it again. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Awesome. Have a great day, everyone. We appreciate you all being here.